Good evening, and welcome to another edition of LIVRESQ, Empower Your Teaching. This is a webinar that takes place once every 2 weeks. It's a public webinar, so if you haven't been here before, my name is Raruca Bolocan, and I'm an instructional designer and trainer at the company Ascendia, the company behind LIVRESQ. So as I was saying, we do this webinar once every 2 weeks. It is free. It's public access. It is recorded because we had a recording request earlier. It is recorded and posted both to YouTube, and we are now being broadcast live to Facebook, to our Facebook page. So you will be able to find recordings of this webinar later on, in case you have any questions or in case you want to watch it again, or if you've registered for the webinar and you are not able to join us. So if you're watching us on YouTube later on, or if you're watching us on Facebook later on, please don't hesitate to write comments, to leave your questions, because we will get back to you. And of course, if you've joined me on Zoom, or if you're joining me now live on Facebook, again, I'm watching both chats, so you can ask questions. You can stop me at any time. If you're on Zoom, you can turn on your microphone, your camera, and we can have some real-time interaction if you want to ask any questions. So for each of these webinars, we have a different topic when we organize them every 2 weeks. The purpose here is to keep our community of users, our international community of users, close, and to explain different aspects, or to let them know about new functions that we've implemented in our tool. Because this webinar is about a tool that allows you to create digital lessons very easily. I know that many of you are here for the first time, so the idea is that in each of the editions, we provide explanations even if you are a complete beginner. So I will try to always cover the basics as well, while focusing more, of course, on the topic that we've advertised. So today we're going to talk about organizing our lessons. We're going to talk about bookmarks and creating a table of contents. But I will also show you a few of the basics of how to work in LIVRESQ if you're just starting out. And again, if you have any questions about how to use our tool, feel free to ask me. I'm watching both chats. From time to time, you'll see me moving my head around. That means that I'm looking for your messages in order to provide you with the information you need. So without further ado, I'll stop sharing the image that you can see, and I'll start sharing my screen with the LIVRESQ tool. So, okay, here we go. As I was saying, LIVRESQ is an editor that allows you to create digital lessons. And if you open the author page of LIVRESQ, so it has two components: a library where we host your lessons, and an author, an editor. And to access the editor, you need an account. You don't need an account to access the library, but you do need an account for the editor. And this is how you access it. And once you open the main page, this is what you see. So this is our main builder. Basically, this interface allows you to navigate through projects, we call them, or lessons, or it's projects because LIVRESQ is also designed to create not only digital lessons, but different e-learning courses and e-learning types of materials. It's very versatile. So in order to have a name for all of them, we call them projects. What you can see here are projects that I've recently modified in my account. Once you get started in LIVRESQ and you will create projects, you will also have a list of recently modified projects here. We've recently added the ability to use artificial intelligence to create a project from scratch, so to create a lesson from scratch. And today I'm going to show you how to use bookmarks and how to organize one such lesson. So how it works, once you're here, once you're in the editor in the home page, you just need to click Create New, and you have the possibility to create a new project. Right off the bat, we can see how LIVRESQ is structured because it allows us to create 3 types of materials, if you will: projects, sections, and resources. That's because we want to allow our users to start creating from all levels. What this essentially means is that inside a project, a lesson, or an e-learning material, we can have one or more sections, And inside these sections, we can find the resources. Resources, we call the actual content of the lesson. So images, text, any type of interactive resources, we call resources, and we add to the sections. And the sections are like pages or chapters if you're writing a digital book, or different chapters even if you're creating a lesson. But again, your project can only have one section, but it needs to have at least one. So in order to start creating a lesson, the way that is the easiest way to do it is to start from this level, from the level of project. And we click project, and we have a few options. We can create a simple project that has nothing on it, which we will later on edit, or we can create a project using AI or choose from one of our templates. New project is, again, it has nothing. Our templates provide you with some content. You were able to view the templates, choose one, and then use them. If only if you have a premium account, you are able to see the project AI option, which means that only if you have a premium account, you're able to use LIVRESQ to create a project with artificial intelligence. And in order to do this, I'm going to click on this option. And here I'll have the possibility to add a title for my lesson, to add the number of minutes I want the lesson to last, a subject. We call it subject. It's like a school object if you're creating lessons for university level or for school, but it's subject if you're creating materials for like a wider audience. That's why we've sort of chosen this term. The age of the students can be added here. So all of this you can edit. You can also set the tone for your lesson. If you're writing a lesson for children, maybe you want it to be more friendly, maybe you want it to be funny. If you're creating, let's say, like a corporate course, maybe you want it to be very professional. So it's all up to you. Then the project language is also selected here. We can also add a few keywords, and we can ask the platform to suggest multimedia content. So the reason why I'm not adding any information here is because we've actually covered this in previous videos, which you can find on our YouTube channel. Just search for LIVRESQ on YouTube and you'll find it. And I've already have a project. I've already created a project that we are going to look at now. My project is about the solar system, so I just entered the solar system in the title, some keywords about planets, and I've also asked it to suggest some multimedia content. Once you complete everything here, you can generate chapters. It generates a structure, and if you agree with those chapters, then it will automatically create a project for you, which looks like this. When you create the project, this is the screen that you first see once the project is created. Here are a few options regarding the entire project, and as I've mentioned in the beginning, every LIVRESQ project has at least one section. So the platform, of course, in the AI project created a section for us. I always like to say that in order to use LIVRESQ efficiently, you need to know how to do 3 things with a mouse, basically, digital skills: to click, to double click, and to drag and drop things, to use that gesture of dragging and dropping. So holding on to something and then letting it go somewhere else. So how this works is that with a single click in LIVRESQ, you select things. With a double click, you edit. So you enter editing mode. And with drag and drop, we add resources, we add content to the project. So right now you saw me opening a project. Under resources is everything that I've created. So from home, I go to resources, and these are folders. I can group them in folders of all of the projects I've worked on. And this is the project that was created using artificial intelligence. If I single click it, I select it, and I have a few options up here that allow me to delete it, to copy it, to rename it. And if I double click it, then I enter the edit mode for the project. I can see that I have a section, and the section is where I can find my resources, where I can find my content. So I will also need to enter and edit this section in order to see what the project looks like. With a single click, I've selected my section, and with double click, I can enter the section and see what the platform has provided me. So basically, we'll just wait for it to load a little bit. It's like a template of a lesson, except it's personalized for what I've asked it to create. We're still working on this tool. It's going to be more elaborate. It will also create entire resources. It will create images as well. But right now, it will create a project based on this template with the information that the AI system will provide for you. Because LIVRESQ is connected to ChatGPT-4, so to the OpenAI platform. So if you pay for a LIVRESQ Premium account, you have access to the paid version of ChatGPT, and I'll show you in a minute also what that looks like and how you can access ChatGPT straight away. So basically, what we have here are so basically what is created by AI is the text inside this template. We have the structure that it's given us. We have some suggestions because we asked it to suggest multimedia content. So it's telling me that here I should add an image depicting the solar system. This is an accordion detailing the components of the solar system. So it's suggesting interactive resources that I can add to the project, but it has provided little bits of information that I can edit again using AI. So it's a very easy, it takes 2 minutes to write a project like this, and then we can just go in and edit what the platform has provided us. And again, you don't have to do that. I mean, you can create lessons using this tool for any level. But at the moment, the way the way the tool looks now, the way you can use the tool at the moment, is that all the lessons will have the same sort of the graphic theme. They'll look similar to one another. But in the future, we'll provide more templates and AI will have more of an input, and it will also generate images, videos, and so on. So before I show you the bookmark things, I also want to show you how AI works on text. If you've never seen LIVRESQ before, this is a section. Again, we know which project we're on because we always have the path here. So we are in the AI-generated project, the solar system, in section number 1. And this is where we can find all the content. And you can see here, text, images, they're empty at the moment. They're pre-filled by LIVRESQ, but we can change these images to whatever we want. Videos, different interactive resources, galleries, quizzes, and so on. We have them all here. And the principle that I was telling you before, whatever I want to edit, I double click. If I want to edit the title, which is a text resource, just text, I double click and I can edit. Different text, I double click and I can edit. I want to change this image to something else, I will double click this image, and I am now in editing mode. Most resources have a separate editing screen, so we can show you more options. But I know I'm still in my project in section number 1, I'm editing image number 1, and I can easily change this preset image by using the change image button, uploading a file from my computer, or searching for a stock photo inside LIVRESQ. I'm showing you this fast forward, but if you want me to show something slower, you can stop me and I will demonstrate it again. Or if you want to see like full demonstrations of the AI tool and everything, and how to get started in LIVRESQ, you can also go back to YouTube and watch some of the videos that are posted there. So right now I can choose any image I want. Since this is a lesson about the solar system, maybe I should search for a different stock image, something to do with planets. Or actually, maybe we should just search for the solar system. Solar system. I can even choose between multiple sources, and then I can just take whatever image I want. It's a stock photo, so it's free for any type of use, and I can add it. I can go back to my section and sort of see how it looks like inside my project. And another thing that I want to show you is that on the text resource, we have this connection to GPT-4. So we have the possibility to generate text using AI. And in order to do this, we are going to use a single click to select a text resource, either an existing one or a new one. Right now it's selected. I can see that because this rectangle, the blue one, is highlighted and the platform says text here. I also have some options for this resource in particular. On the right-hand side, I have a few properties, and we will be working with this side of the screen today. But for AI, we can go to AI Enhancer, which you can find here. So you need to select a text resource from your project or add a text resource to a new project. I'll show that in a minute. And then we select AI Enhancer. And AI Enhancer lets us do two things. So first of all, we can rephrase text that already exists. We can select a number of characters, and then we can just click rephrase, and it will rephrase the text. Or we can talk to GPT-4 and write a question, ask it to do something. And for this, I'm actually, so I don't ruin the text that the platform has given me, I'll add a new text resource. Again, the core gestures, we need single click to select, double click to edit, and in order to add new content to our project, we drag and drop. And now I'm going to show you how you do that. Everything that we can add to our project, you can find on the left-hand side here. We can add structural elements. I won't go into this now, so it's not too much information. Or you can add actual content, what we call resources. So if I want to add text to my project, to my section, I will take it from the left-hand side and I will place it wherever I want inside my project. Right now, I've added a text resource. If I want to edit this text resource, I will double click and I have the text editing menu up here. If I want to select it, I will single click. You saw that this disappears if I don't have a text resource selected. Right now, I have a text resource selected, it appears. If I'm on an image, because we can't yet generate images using AI in LIVRESQ, but that's coming up. There's nothing here. If I select a text resource, then we have the AI generator displayed here. So what I can do now is ask GPT a question. So I can ask it, for example, to write a joke about the solar system, since we're in a lesson about the solar system. I don't want it to be this long, maybe around 200-300 characters, so I want a short joke. And then I'll just click send using this button. And here we go, we have a joke. We can either ask it to regenerate, write another question, or click use to transfer this text to our text resource inside the project. So if I click use here, the joke is displayed in my text resource. Double click, I can edit it, I can rearrange it, I can do whatever I want with it, because it is now a fully editable text resource that was generated using GPT-4. So basically, this is, I've sort of shown you a little bit of everything. I've shown you how to use AI and what you can do with AI so far. Truth be told, you can also generate a video using AI, which I will let you discover either in one of our previous videos or straight in our platform. The main idea, though, is that we use a single click to select, double click to edit. We drag and drop to add new things. We always know where we are, and then we just add information or content or any type of interactive resource that we need according to the whatever is easy and wherever we want it from the left-hand side. We can also add different resources from outside LIVRESQ, and we have a video on that. So if you want to add maybe a Google Docs form or maybe learning apps, you can add them straight inside your LIVRESQ lesson. You don't need to worry about sending your students a different link. So as long as that as long as that platform allows you to embed their content, then you can embed it in LIVRESQ as well, and your students will be able to access it straight from the lesson you're building. So the building is really simple. It's based on blocks. It's kind of like Lego. You just place whatever you need, either on an empty project, on a template, or you can create this sort of template, this structure using AI that you can then edit. But once you create a lesson and an entire project, once you add all the information you want, you have the title, you have all of your interactive resources, um, you should also, of course, organize that lesson. And the way we do that in LIVRESQ is through bookmarks, because a project, what we see here is just a page, but we can preview this entire project, this entire lesson, so that you'll see what your students see. And in order to preview any resource in LIVRESQ, you always have this little view mode, this little eye that is displayed. You will be able to preview resources individually or entire projects, sections, depending on where you find this eye. So if we go into view mode for the entire project, that's why I've clicked on the project, you're able to see that on the left-hand side, we have a menu, which we can toggle on and off with the table of contents, which means that your students are able to navigate through the lesson using this table of contents. And this table of contents is created using bookmarks. So whenever I click a title here, it's actually a location inside my lesson that is bookmarked that I can access through this title. And this is the main use of the bookmarks, the idea that you can create this table of contents that allows your students to go through the lesson, to go to different parts of the lesson. And this menu will be displayed. It's created automatically, or we'll see how you create the table of contents, but this menu, this toolbar, is displayed on all LIVRESQ projects unless you choose not to display it. There are also other options here. You can full screen the lesson. You can ask for, there's a little guide that we've embedded here. Some preferences. You can also opt for a sound button, but of course you also have this menu that allows the student to go through the lesson. So if we exit view mode, whenever we're in view mode, this little eye, and usually you'll find it on the bar up here, is blue. In order to exit it, we click it again. Let's go back inside our section and see how we can actually add these bookmarks to our project. Now, you can add a bookmark to any element inside a LIVRESQ section. So if you want to add the bookmark on the text, you can by selecting the resource text. I've selected this text, and up here in this very handy bar, we have this little star, which allows us to add a bookmark to whatever we've selected. And this wasn't very spectacular because you're not able to see, because of all the settings on this title, you're not able to see the bookmark. And that's why let's add it to the course overview. I've selected course overview, and I will click put a bookmark. Again, the bookmark is here. We can't see it yet. Whatever other element I can add, I can add bookmarks to. And actually, once you add a bookmark, if there aren't any CSS sections, so any settings, any special settings on that bit of resource, you'll see a blue star over here. So I know that I have a bookmark here. I know I have a bookmark here and here. The reason why I said that you can add bookmarks to all the elements inside a LIVRESQ section is because maybe I don't know if you notice or not, but we have different types of rectangles. So not just, I'll remove this bookmark here just to show you. So not just text, but we also have these orange rectangles that are called cells and these gray rectangles that are called rows. We can see what they're called because whenever we click them, the platform tells us what they are. And we also have this little menu that allows us to duplicate that element. It's taken a while, just a second. Or it also allows you to delete the element, to move it around. Basically, these building blocks, because these are actually the building blocks, are a way to organize the information on a LIVRESQ page efficiently, because our design is responsive, which means that when you're creating a lesson, you don't need to worry about how it will be displayed on a mobile phone, for instance, if your students will see the lesson on a mobile phone, because it will automatically arrange regardless of the size of the screen. AI is embedded in the platform. I'm just reading a question now. Is AI embedded in the platform, or do you have to type in a separate window? It's all embedded. So if you select a text resource, you go to AI Enhancer. So I'm inside LIVRESQ right now. You go to AI Enhancer and you can find it all here. Nothing separate, everything integrated. Even the AI project, I was inside LIVRESQ. So it's all here. This is where I write a question. This is where I add different information. This is where I ask ChatGPT to provide something for me. Inside the platform, you can create, again, this is still under development, videos using AI. And also, if you want to search for stock images, again, double click to edit the image, change image, stock photo, and we can look through this, through these sources and search for whatever we are. These are pop-up windows, but they're inside LIVRESQ. You don't need to go anywhere. We're still in LIVRESQ, so I'm not doing anything special. It's the exact experience that you would have as a user. I hope that answers your question. Going back to bookmarks. So we can add a bookmark to all elements. And as I was saying, we have 3 elements that allow you to arrange everything. We have rows, and we have an unlimited number of rows inside a project. They are gray. Rows will appear one under the other. Inside a row, we can have 1, 2, or multiple cells. Cells allow you to place information next to the other. They're kind of like columns. And inside our cells, we have our resources. So when you drag a new resource to the project, if you're not deliberately placing it inside a cell, like if I wanted to add an image, if I'm not deliberately placing it here inside my cell, then it will automatically place it somewhere in a cell because it needs that element. If you want to see what the project looks like on a smaller screen, you can simulate a phone, for instance, and you'll see here that your cells are now displayed one under the other. Back to a normal size screen. This simulates basically a larger type of screen. So the bookmark can be added either on a row, on a cell, or on the resource itself. So if I select this row using a single click, I can click on Put a Bookmark, and I've added a bookmark to my course overview, and I can see it here. The bookmark is for this entire row. I've kept adding bookmarks to my project. Some of them were added already, but I don't see them anywhere. They're nowhere to be found. Actually, on the right-hand side, we have this little menu, this little panel here that says bookmarks. If we click it, then we are able to see all of the bookmarks, a list of all the bookmarks that were added inside our section, because we're now in the project called Solar System in section number 1. If I forget where they are, if I just kept adding bookmarks, haven't named them yet, and I forgot where they are, we have this little nifty button that takes us straight to the bookmark, and it highlights it so we can see exactly where it is. You can see it highlighted in yellow. If I click on another one, it will take me straight to that bookmark. It will highlight it so that I can name them accordingly, because this is where I give names to my bookmarks. So on the right-hand side, we have the bookmarks panel. For instance, my first bookmark is just called bookmark. I haven't given it a name yet. These are all names of bookmarks that were provided by the platform. And I will just say course overview here. We also have a question regarding the AI tool being available for non-AI generated projects, and yes, it is available. It is available on all text resources in all projects in LIVRESQ. So if you create a blank project with nothing, you don't even need to start from a template. You just create a blank project. If you have a text resource, then this AI enhancer tool will be here, and you can use it just as you saw me use it. You write a question or you rephrase the text that is already there. You select the number of characters, so the size of the answer, and the platform will provide you with the answer that you can just embed straight to the lesson. So no, it doesn't need to be created by AI. What's special about this project is that it's created by AI and it's sort of integrated information. It gave us a structure. But otherwise, everything, all LIVRESQ projects work in the same way. Also, we have a few special settings, advanced settings for styling here and there because we see all these icons. But generally, everything works in the same way, and AI works perfectly well, even if you haven't generated a project using it. The AI for text, I mean. Okay, so now inside our section, we have this list of bookmarks. We have them added, and we can see the blue stars. Again, to add a bookmark, we select the element we want to add the bookmark to, whether it's a row, a cell, or an actual resource, and we just put the bookmark using this star here. And then on the right-hand side, we have the list of all the bookmarks, and we can rename them. We can navigate to a bookmark in case we've forgotten where we've added it. And we can edit the name, we can select them all, we can delete them as well. By the way, how do we delete one? Because if we use the star up here to add the bookmark, this is also the same button that we use to remove it. So if I click on bookmark again, I've now removed the bookmark. It was also removed from this list. If I want to add it back on, it's added it as if it's new. I need to write the name again, course over. So I have these bookmarks, but now the next step is creating the table of contents, the table of contents that we saw on the menu when we opened the project, that menu on the left. In order to create our table of contents, in order to create that menu, we need to go back to the general settings of the project, which means returning from the section to the project by clicking the title of the project here. And one of the menus that we have available here is table of contents. And here is where we find a list of all the bookmarks and the actual table of contents, which includes the bookmarks here. So in order to introduce a bookmark, to place the bookmark inside the table of contents, we just need to move it from one side to the other. So we can take it by hand, or we could have used these arrows here to move everything to one side. If we want to remove something, if we want to remove a bookmark from the table of contents and place it and just not have it featured in that menu, we can just move it back. If we want to introduce it in the table of contents, then we place it here. So if we go into view mode for the project, I have the course overview here as well, because I've just added it. Yes, so we have a question about recording. All of the recordings are available on our Facebook page, and I'll actually link it. If you just search for LIVRESQ on Facebook, you'll find a LIVRESQ Romania page and a LIVRESQ International page. We are now live on LIVRESQ International, and it is all there. Or you can search for LIVRESQ on YouTube. It usually takes a few days, but all of our trainings so far, so this is our 13th edition, you can find all of our trainings on our YouTube channel. So just go onto YouTube, search for LIVRESQ, and all the recordings are there. So you have it all. I hope that answers your question, and I hope you were able to hear me. So you can go back and watch it on YouTube or on Facebook. Search for LIVRESQ International, or search just for LIVRESQ on YouTube, and you're able to watch all of these, maybe download them from YouTube or from Facebook and use them like that. Is that okay? I hope. I'll wait for you to, I'll see your answer as I continue to explain. Perfect. Thank you so much. So now the bookmark that I've just added to my table of contents is here. And we have the full list of all the titles that were added to our project. This is the table of contents. These are all the bookmarks we've added. We've moved them from bookmarks to table of contents. And they're all there, and we were able to see them by previewing. So this is the main use of bookmarks, and this is how we create a table of contents and how we use it. We add the bookmark inside our lesson to the content that interests us. And then we introduce it into the table of contents. You may have seen while we were creating this table of contents that you don't have to add all the bookmarks to it. So in case you just want to add a bookmark somewhere and you don't want it to feature inside that menu, you can do that. It doesn't necessarily need to be, you don't necessarily have to introduce them all. Because there are actually other uses in LIVRESQ for bookmarks. Bookmarks also allow you to link between different parts of the lesson. So if you want to create a button that will take you from where the button is to, let's say, a detailed study of the sun, we can do that, and we need bookmarks for that. So let's learn how to create a bookmark that links, a button that links to a part of the lesson. I will just add a row with 3 cells, because usually I want the button to be smaller. Then I can just take a text resource. You can add buttons either, you can create a button out of an image or a text. The easiest way is to create, or the most descriptive way, the fastest way is to create it using a text resource. So I will go to content and I will drag and drop a text resource in one of the cells that I've just created. And I will just write a text for my button. Go to a detailed study of the sun. Sounds very formal. And I want to turn this resource into a button that will take me to that bookmark. So in order to do this, I will select the text resource. And then here under action, under properties on the right-hand side, I have this action button. I can select follow bookmark. If I select follow bookmark, then below I have the possibility to choose between all of the bookmarks that were added inside my section, inside my project actually, and I will click on detailed study of the sun. And here we even have this little actual button. We can display this or not. We can hide it, but it's better to leave it there so that the student or whoever looks at the course will see that they can interact with that. That's a button. So now if I preview the entire section, if I click on my newly created button, it will take me straight to a detailed study of the sun. So how I actually use this, another way to use bookmarks is to create links between different parts of the lesson. Of course, I can create a button to also follow a link outside of LIVRESQ if you want to create a link for something else or to launch a resource, but this is a way we can use bookmarks directly. And whenever you add a link inside LIVRESQ, you'll always see the option. So not just by creating a button, but adding a link in a text, for instance, you'll always see the option to link to a bookmark, which allows you to link between different parts of the lesson. So just to do a quick recap, we can add bookmarks to any part of the lesson. To any element inside of a LIVRESQ page or inside of a LIVRESQ section. We can add them to rows, to cells, or to resources. The way I like to use them and the way I found is sort of the most logical for me, at least, way to use them is to add them on rows, because that's how we usually organize and structure materials. Like bookmarks are titles, and usually a title occupies an entire row. So that's why it's sort of very easy and very automatic for me to add resources, to add bookmarks to rows. So I just select the row that I'm interested in, add the bookmark from the bar up here. Then I open the list of bookmarks, give it a name, and then by returning to the project, I can create the table of contents. But also, not all bookmarks need to be featured in the table of contents, only those that I need, because I can also use bookmarks in order to link to different parts of the lesson. It would appear the table of contents was directly automated from the bookmarks. How can you filter the aspects of the bookmarks that you do not want to appear on the table of content? So again, if we access the table of contents, we basically have 2 lists here. the list of bookmarks, and the actual table of contents. And in order to add a bookmark to the table of content, we need to move it from one side to the other. So if I want to remove a bookmark, right now it's just a bookmark on my project, but it's not in my table of contents. It's just here, it's not here. So if I preview, there's there isn't a course overview here because I've removed it from the title. So these are two different instances. This is a list of all the bookmarks I added, and this is the actual table of contents. Again, because I don't have to feature everything inside my table of contents. Maybe I don't want to put this here. I just want the titles and I don't want any subtitles. So I just move whatever I don't want inside my table of contents. I move it to the list of bookmarks. List of bookmarks, table of contents. In view mode, I now have only these titles in my table of contents. And these other ones are still bookmarks inside my lesson. I did not remove them. They will still appear as blue stars if we go back to our section, but they're just not in the table of contents. I hope that answers your question. Perfect. And also you saw that some of them are considered subtitles. If I just add them automatically, the platform doesn't understand that they're subtitles. You need to add the indentation. So you need to move them wherever you need them to be. So if I decide that this is a chapter, this is a subchapter, and this is a subchapter of that subchapter, then I will need to do this organization of moving them wherever I need, because this is again something that's up to each creator in how we organize the information that we've provided. And once you create that table of contents, it will appear here in this list. And also another use for this, and we haven't talked about, we will dedicate an entire webinar to metadata and how we complete this. But basically the metadata, just to give you like a very brief preview, is a sort of a description of your lesson that appears in our library or in the library of any LMS. So you can add different bits of information about your lesson here. You can add a cover image, you can add authors, and you can also add the table of contents, which is automatically taken from whatever table of contents you've created. This will automatically, and if I change something here, for instance, just indentation, it will also change in the metadata. We can also call it whatever we want, just contents, for instance. So this will automatically take it. But essentially, the most direct use for the table of contents is in that bar. Once I finish creating my lesson, and once I finish creating my project, hold on, it doesn't want to preview anymore. I've clicked too many times, hold on. So in the bar up there, I'll always have access to whatever table of contents I've created. Okay. How can we import PowerPoint lessons created out of LIVRESQ into LIVRESQ and add bookmarks and table of contents? So bookmarks and table of contents work the same on any LIVRESQ project. There is an option to import PowerPoint files inside LIVRESQ. If we go back to home, create new, we also have a button that allows us to import everything. I don't have a PowerPoint presentation on hand now, but you can definitely test this out. You just browse and add a PowerPoint file here, import it, and it will be displayed. There will be some editing that you will need to do in terms of how everything is styled. It's not very complicated. And then you're able to edit the project as if it were any project. And in fact, let's just create a new empty project so that you see sort of how it looks like if we have no information and we just need to add things. So this is available on all LIVRESQ accounts. I've just created a new project. It's opened automatically. Now I have two open projects, my solar system one, the one generated with AI, and the empty one I've just created. I double click my section. It already has a question section because we need at least one section for all LIVRESQ projects. I double click to enter my section, and here it even tells me there's already a text resource, and it tells me to begin, drag an element from the left, and I can just take whatever I want from the left-hand side, maybe a quiz, an image, and add it. If I want to add rows with multiple cells, I can take elements from structure, I can move these things around, basically like building blocks. If you import a file, you'd have information here, which you'd be able to move around however you would want and need. And because we always have rows, cells, resources, again, we can add bookmarks because the interface looks the same no matter what the project is. So if I select something, I'll have the possibility to add a bookmark, however many bookmarks I want. And I have the list of bookmarks here. I can rename them. I can go to them so that I can remember where they are. They're all here. Name them, give them whatever titles I want. I'm writing very elaborate words that make a lot of sense. I go back to the project table of contents, and this is my list of bookmarks, and I can drag and drop them to my table of contents. If I change the order accidentally, for instance, this one, actually, let's give them more intelligent names so that they can actually make sense. So let's just say 1, 2, and 3. If I go to table of contents and I accidentally add them in a different order, to the project, the platform will display an error. And I can either figure out what the error is, or I can use this magic wand to correct the order. Because it doesn't make sense to have a menu of table of contents that is not in the order that it appears inside the lesson. You can do that, but it doesn't really make a lot of sense. But whatever error appears, the platform tells me that there's something wrong. And if I can't figure it out, if I've forgotten, maybe I have many bookmarks inside my lesson, then maybe I just need to, I can just use the wand and correct everything. Apart from geography, what other subject areas does LIVRESQ platform cover, and for what level of education? So apart from geography, you can do anything. You can do all levels. We use the same tool in our company to create courses for corporate level, for small children. We create basically courses for everything. It's very versatile. For the AI project, you can ask AI to do virtually everything or anything. So whatever subject, whatever input you want to give it, whatever age you want to select in that little form, you can. And all subjects are covered 100%. If you want to look inside of our library, because I did mention at the beginning that we have two components. We have a library component and we have the editor. So up to this point, we've been working inside the editor. But in the library is the place actually where we host the lessons. So once you finish creating a lesson, you can download it and use a package, or you can have it be hosted for free inside of our library. And our library has two parts. One of them is private, where you can find inside your shelf, or actually on your shelf, all of your lessons. And these don't need to be public. Most of my lessons are in Romanian, and they're all private. But if you go to publications, you're able to see a long list of lessons that were created by different teachers, mainly Romanians, but also we have lessons in English as well, lessons that were either created by our company or lessons that were created by other teachers. So you can actually filter according to age, category, topic. This is mainly for education, not necessarily adult education, as in mainly just for schools and universities. But for instance, we have lessons that we've created. We have a math lesson that is published here about the rule of thirds, the rule of 3. You can also find a lesson about the leaf just to see some examples of what LIVRESQ can do. And from the library, we can open lessons, we can preview them. You don't need an account, and this is very important. So once you finish creating a lesson and you want to publish it, either privately on your own shelf or publicly inside the LIVRESQ library, whoever needs to access that lesson from the library, so your students don't need to have accounts. So right now I'm logged in, obviously, because I'm using the editor, but even if I wasn't logged in, I could just click open on this lesson and I'd be able to see this lesson in full 100%, hear the lesson without having an account. I'll just paste this link in the Zoom chat. So maybe if you want to take a look at the lesson my colleagues have created, you can just have a look just to give you an idea of what LIVRESQ can do. And again, it's 100% versatile because as long as you have the opportunity, as we saw in our empty project, to add content of any type, sort of the sky is the limit on what fields you can discover or on what type of content you can add. Again, we've covered this in a previous meeting. If you need, or if you're already using different education apps like learning apps, WordWall in your teaching, then you can embed these apps straight to LIVRESQ. So you don't need to send multiple links to your students. You just need to send them a library link. And again, inside the library, you can have lessons on your own shelf. So only people with the link to that lesson will have access, or you can make them public. And if you decide to make them public, it takes, I think 1 or 2 days, because we check all the lessons that are public by hand. So it's not AI that does the checking, because we want to make sure that nothing inappropriate is featured in our library. So if you ever want to send your students, or if you ever want to look for lessons on different topics that are public, we can assure you that nothing inappropriate, that you won't be able to find anything inappropriate inside the library. So if you want to look at other examples of what our creators and what other teachers have created, you can go to the library. But again, it's a very, very versatile tool because you can just add content and look through the previous videos, look at the previous webinars to see just how to add content, how to add quizzes. We have an entire video on quizzes as well, because you can create a wide variety of quizzes in LIVRESQ. And also, and we do get this question from our Romanian community of teachers as well, when to use these lessons or how long do they take? And this again is up to you. We've talked to teachers who use them for like small moments with their students. You can also create lessons for homework, for instance, because you can add virtual teachers, you can add avatars, and we have a video on that as well that will guide the student as if you're there with them. So both for asynchronous learning, both for live face-to-face learning. If you want it to be more interactive, it can be more interactive. If you want to build it like a presentation, you can build it like a presentation. All in all, it's very, very versatile, and it's up to you on how you add content and the type of content you want to add and the way you use it. The main idea behind the tool is to give you a way to build educational content easily and in an accessible way, both for you and for your students. And our purpose actually is to simplify this process as much as we can. And that's why we want to implement more and more AI features so that we can make this as quick as possible for teachers, because we know that everybody is really, really busy nowadays. So it helps to have something that's easy to build and easy to use. Are there any specific design for PPT lessons that to be important in LIVRESQ? Not really. Although if you have any trouble, please write to us. And we've already spoken on email a few times. So write back to us and tell us if you have any problems. I personally haven't tested the import too much, but I have many colleagues who would be able to help you out with this. Please let me know if there are any other questions. It was really nice to Can interactive exercises from H5P be embedded into LIVRESQ? So I'm not really familiar 100% with this platform, I'm guessing, but as long as the platform allows embedding, then yes, they can. You can go back to the video, or I'll actually show you. There are two ways to embed external or outside applications into LIVRESQ. One of them is the application resource that you can just add to your project. To click, just as we've done so far, to edit just as we've done so far, we double click and we can add the app like this, or inside a text resource, if we add a text to any point, to any part of our project, we double click to edit. We can also access the source behind our text resource, and here we can paste an iframe code or an embed code, and that will make the app work 100% and be responsive and be interactive inside LIVRESQ. And there's a full demonstration, an hour-long demonstration of how we can add iframe and how we can embed material on YouTube. And it is available on YouTube already. Just search for LIVRESQ on YouTube. You'll see my face and you'll also see the title that's about embedding applications. There are some platforms that have restrictions. For instance, in order to embed a Kahoot, we have a lot of teachers who use Kahoot. You need to pay them a subscription. They don't allow embed in any tool. So unless that platform that you want to embed in LIVRESQ doesn't have any restrictions, then you won't have any problem embedding the app in the source code of the text resource, generally. Okay. Also take a quick look. There were a lot of questions in the registration form regarding the recordings for this. And again, you can find them on YouTube, and they'll also stay on Facebook. We're also live on Facebook right now on the LIVRESQ International page. If there are no more questions, then it was a real pleasure. How do we insert a logo in a course? That's a very good question. Great. So inside the project, we were in a section. We go to project. We have one menu that we haven't yet accessed in our webinars called preferences. And here we can set different settings. We can change different settings for the entire project. If you have a premium account, and I know for a fact that you do, this is where you can change the logo image. You can add a logo that will be displayed here in the menu. And you can also change the hero image, which will be displayed up here like a banner, where the percentage of complete is. And of course, you can look at more of these settings. It's a really complex topic, and we'll definitely be back with one webinar dedicated to these properties. But just to quickly answer your question, if you want to add your logo, you go into the preferences for the entire project. No matter what type of project it is, either an AI created project or a simple blank project. We go into preferences and we have the possibility to add a logo image from the properties on the right-hand side here. Logo image will be displayed here. And hero image, the hero image is like a banner that is displayed on the upper part of the menu. Thank you for the question. Please let me know if you have any others. Okay. If there are no more questions, if there are, I'm happy to answer them. But if there are no more questions, then I will kindly remind you that we're here every 2 weeks on Thursdays at 6 p.m. Central European Time. It's usually me. After all these meetings are also broadcast on Facebook Live, and the recordings are later on posted to YouTube. So if you're watching this as a recording, and if you have questions, don't hesitate to leave a comment and we'll get back to you. You can also write to us if you need any help. adding accordions is an issue. Okay. Can you please give me a specific, do you want me to show you again how to add an accordion, or do you have a specific question? I'll just go back to my section, open the section in the empty project. I'll actually remove this application. So in order to add an accordion, just as we've been adding text to our project, we can take it from the left-hand side here, from the content, and add it in a cell or add it wherever we need it to be. And right now we have a pre-filled accordion. And in order to edit, double click. So a single click to select an element, double click to edit, drag and drop to add new elements. Once we double click the accordion, we are in edit mode. We always know where we are in LIVRESQ because we can see the path up here. We're in project 42. That's how many empty projects I've created. Section number 1, when we are editing accordion number 1. And here you can see that it's all divided in between titles and content. Whenever I click one of these, I can change it. So I'll just write title 1, and this is where I add the content, something. The next sort of title in the accordion, under number 2, we'll write title 2, something else. And then maybe I just want 2 titles. I can remove the third item, the third title, or I can add it back by using the blue button, the blue plus button. Remove, add. Remove, add. And here I can add text, I can add images, both in the title and in the content of the accordion. So I see 2 titles here. If I want to see what it looks like, remember I told you about the eye. And I've also mentioned that you can find the eye wherever you are on the upper bar here. So if we press on the eye, we can go into view mode. And now we have one title here. And if we click it, we see the content that I've written, very elaborate content. If we click title number 2, the content that I've added under title number 2. So we have 2 titles. If I want to exit the view mode, I click view mode again, and I'm back into editing. If I've finished editing my accordion and I want to go back to the section, I just click the title of the section up here. So I add it by dragging it from the content inside my project, because that's how I add content in my LIVRESQ project. I drag it from the left to my project. With a single click, I've selected it, but right now I need to edit it, so I will double click. And I have titles. I know that once the user presses the title, they will see the content. The title is up here, and the content is below it. And we have how many titles? The titles are numbered. We call them items. 1, 2, I want to add another one. 3, 4, I can add as many as I want. If I don't need that many, I can just click remove item. And then once I finish editing, again, I can either preview it here or go back to my section. Please tell me if it's clear now, or if you need something else, maybe for me to move slower, maybe to show you something in particular. Thank you so much for joining us. Again, if you're watching a recorder, drop a comment if you're watching a recording. And if you want to join us live, we're here once every 2 weeks on Thursdays from 6 Central European Time. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you in 2 weeks.